everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Talk the Talk with me, Dish. Today we welcome Riaan De Beer, buyer at Atterbury Motors, into studio. Riaan has an omnipresent energy and intuition, which gives him the natural ability to be a source of inspiration and illumination to those who work with him, especially women who seek his exceptional guidance and mentorship. I must say, Lurika, who is his boss or manager or the owner of Atterbury Motors, really admires his passion, and she's one of the reasons that Riaan is sitting here next to me, because she wanted people to know what it is that he offers in a role like his, and another way to empower women in order to aspire to be like Riaan. So he's here to share a lot of his tricks of the trade with us. He's passionate about his current position at Atterbury Motors, and this includes managing the dealership and the team. He also takes full advantage of every opportunity, and therefore he always achieves his goals and dreams. But let's hear more from Riaan himself. So let's welcome Riaan De Beer, proudly brought to you by Sariti Solutions. Hi Riaan. How are you?
Very good, in yourself?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Riaan, tell us a bit more about your life journey in terms of the motoring trade and what led to your current position at Atterbury Motors.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. I was born and raised in Kempton Park. Right here,
okay.
Home ground. And in a modest upbringing.
Okay.
I went to high school Kempton Park. Yes. After that, I took a nice gap year, and believe it or not, I actually studied accounting.
Okay.
I'm an accountant by trade.
Okay.
And
you don't have an accounting personality. Not that accountants don't have good personalities, but you have a marketing bias personality.
Oh, that's interesting, but yeah, I am an accountant.
Wow.
So that is actually where the trading also started. That's where I started buying and selling cars,
Okay.
where my initial know-how came from.
Right.
Then I joined online used car auction platform for about 2 years, and then I just had an idea, maybe I should try something a bit different than the motoring trade. While I was studying, that was what all my focus was on. And then I joined the auction platform, and it was awesome, but I thought, let's take a turn. And then, believe it or not, I went into recruitment.
Wow.
So I worked in recruitment as an SMR manager for a few months, and then I ended up at Atterbury Motors with Lurika.
So we talked about Lurika but earlier on, and she says you have so much of drive, so much of motivation. Share that with us. Why so?
It's not only for personal growth, but that kind of kickback that one gets from seeing the company that you work for, the company that you represent, grow.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of girls and thankfully this is one of our main focuses and aims or objectives here at Talk the Talk show, is to bring more females and women into the motoring trade. What advice can you give to them?
Well, every goal without a plan is a dream. So everyone's success story is not the same, neither is the recipe. But you always have to remember why you chose the career path, because that is something that is going to push you through the difficult times, and will give you a rewarding career.
Right.
So it's just remember the growth, and also remember why you chose this path. Look, there will be difficult times, but there is so much good to see in this industry.
Yes. I love that. I'm still hooked on it. Every goal without a plan is a dream.
Yes.
I love that. Absolutely true. So you obviously want to see change, and that's why you're sitting in the seat. What change and transformation would you like to see in the motoring trade in terms of women entering?
So The biggest is, in my opinion, it's very important that SAMRA, the South African Motor Body Repairers Association, takes the necessary steps to ensure that the vehicle insurance make public their register of written off vehicles. Now, why would some people say, why is it that important? And you know, it comes down to a lot of things, but you know, especially in our industry, and why we have recurrent customers is that the vehicles that we source are hand-picked, and we hear so many stories, especially women being bullied into buying vehicles that have been written off, that's unsafe, because they don't know better. And that's also where one of your platforms comes in, but we'll touch base that a bit later. But you know, it makes it easier for us to, you know, just put that stamp of approval on it. And you know what, I can sleep well tonight knowing that someone drove a vehicle out of our dealership knowing that it's perfect condition, not written off. Happy hearts.
And I love that because it is a woman-owned dealership, and she knows exactly, as a woman, what she would want in terms of service and in terms of peace of mind for women. So absolutely, I'm definitely on the same page with you on that one. So Riaan, you know, we've built a relationship over almost the past year, I would say. Lurika has been in my corner from day one, and I appreciate her and your dealership support in everything that I do. And I'd just like to give a shout out to Lurika. Happy birthday to you for last week. What is your opinion? What is your personal opinion? You came to me in December, you delivered a car to me and everything, and you were so excited about me taking this car on the road. So what's your opinion about everything that we are doing here?
Well, I'm a very big supporter of your Motoring Women of the Year awards. I feel it's very important to give recognition where it's due, but also to voice what other people have done and what they have achieved in their careers, in their lives. Because you know, we get to learn so much from these people, and especially from Lurika as well. You know, being in a position where we work with her closely up until very late hours at night, and we work with her closely every day, and just the attention to detail and just how much we get to learn from her. So, you know, for you guys creating that platform where other people can also recognize the contribution that they make to everyone around them, whether it's in their personal life, whether at work, but just anyone they come into contact with. That's awesome.
Yes. Things have been tough. Times have been difficult in terms of COVID. People have been feeling down and out. And what's your advice to these people that needs to stay motivated? How do you do that, motivated and inspired?
Well, for me, it's being in the motor industry is very fulfilling in itself because it's an ever-changing market. So, you know, that might not answer the question directly, but you know, if you look at the greater scheme of things, if you are in a market where things are up and down the whole time, it's very easier to focus on that and then also apply that to your personal life. For every, you know, uphill there's a downhill. So for me, it's affecting, like, creating that balance as well, knowing that every difficult time, every market goes through a difficult time, and personally you might go through difficult things, but every challenge is there to overcome.
Yes. And what is one of your favorite quotes?
Everything comes to you at the right time. Be patient. So, you know, you might want something really dearly, but if it's not meant to be, it's not going to happen right now. And that's one thing that I try and stick out, even though it's very, very difficult, is you have to remember that when it's time, it will happen.
Yes, absolutely. I understand that you like to embrace the present, and yes, tell me more about that.
Okay, so this might be a bit controversial, but I'm not too worried about leaving a legacy behind. I like to focus on the here and now, and you know, it's nice to be remembered for something, but unless you're a president or work in politics and get streets named after you, the likelihood is not that good.
Riaan Road. I see that happening.
That you know, that you will be remembered, but you know, focus on improving yourself daily, And the most important factor for me is adding value to every person that you meet and every conversation that you have.
Right.
So it's not that much about leaving a legacy behind, but just being an awesome person and being the one person that people can learn something from.
You are an awesome person.
Thank you.
You are. I love you to bits. And what's the greatest lesson that you could possibly pass on to our viewers today?
Well, it is important for human beings to fail in every aspect of life because that's the only way you learn,
Yes.
I think. If all you do is succeed, it's hard to learn.
Right.
Knowledge, wisdom, and growth comes into us when we have had failed and when we have had setbacks. So, that is something that I live by. Is that it doesn't matter how difficult it gets, you're gonna get through it. And when you go through troubled times as well, especially now with COVID, and a lot of businesses are struggling, they're not doing that well. Some people are going through personal stuff as well, and that's why I firmly believe in that. Is that there's a lesson behind everything.
Yes, absolutely, Riaan. I want to talk a bit about accounting because I just see I see an accountant sitting here next to me. But is there anything else what would you like to do? What's your dreams? What's your aspirations in terms of your career and also in terms of what you'd like to do adventure-wise?
Okay, well, I definitely within the next few years, I would like to work myself up towards a GM or a dealer principal position. That's definitely one of my biggest aspirations. But, if we have to talk about something like, let's say, a bucket list or things I would still want to do, I have to say everything. I'm too young. I couldn't possibly have started ticking things off my bucket list.
You're young, but you've achieved. You have achieved,
Yes.
and I'm very proud of you. And so
Thank
is Lurika. And thank you for representing Atterbury Motors today.
Thank you so much for having
I
me.
just want to ask you one last question. And this is just to punt a woman-owned dealership, which is few and far between. Okay, what do you love about Atterbury Motors, working for Atterbury Motors and the service delivery at Atterbury Motors?
The passion that each and every employee shares.
Okay.
We are extremely passionate about our company, and it's a very diverse culture, but I think what makes us a bit different to other dealerships is that sometimes you might find that you drive into the dealership floor, then you'd see all of us washing a car because that's what the help was needed for, washing that car for a delivery.
Yes.
Then you'll find us all washing that car.
Yes.
So I just think it's that pure passion for good service and good cars that we want to put all our clients in. And it's a very contagious thing, the passion for what we have for working for Atterbury. And I mean, everyone that comes into contact with us, if you can read our Hello Peter reviews, people pick up on it. And that's why people keep on coming back for more, because that is like a little safe environment. If you come there and you want to buy a car, we look after our clients exceptionally well.
Yes.
And the stock is exceptional, the staff is exceptional, Lurika is exceptional.
Yes.
Just an awesome place to work for.
Absolutely. And I must also again mention that Lurika, she comes from a phenomenal background of vehicles, and her dad Quibus loved cars and lived under the bonnet. I remember Van der Walt, who is her brother, the owner of We Buy Cars, said this to me in terms of his involvement in vehicles. But I'd like to say that Lurika's passion for this actually stemmed from her inner passion, came from nowhere else. Am I correct by saying
100% correct.
Yes.
So it's
It wasn't taught to her. It wasn't taught to her.
It's very important to note that Atterbury Motors is one of those awesome self-made success stories.
Yes.
Is that
By a woman.
By a woman, 100% correct. And
Yes.
people that view our day-to-day activities would know this. So just a simple example is each and every vehicle that gets procured for Atterbury Motors gets the Lurika tick.
Yes.
Then
Love
something
it.
in it. So
Like that
there is
personal
no
touch,
financial
yes.
assistance, nothing. That's purely a self-made success story and an awesome one.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming, and I appreciate all the support that you and your team gives us here at Talk the Talk. And I can't wait to have another member of your team join me in studio.
That's it. Thank you so much for having me, and yeah, we look forward.
Aw. So viewers, thank you for watching, supporting and following us once again. Also, please remember to follow us on our social media platforms, and don't forget we have thousands of vehicles on sale to choose from countrywide on our vehicle listing page at www.womantalk.co.za. And remember viewers, we only advertise for bank accredited dealerships, just like the 150 cars from Atterbury Motors. Ladies, many of us or our reactions originate in our unconscious mind. Thus, it is up to us to consciously be aware of our choices and the way we handle situations. If we consciously approach our reactions from a place of choice, we have the power to make decisions that serve our best interest instead of reacting unconsciously or impulsively. So remember, life is all about making choices. See, Riaan wanted to be an accountant, but just look at the choice he made and where he is right now in his career. Always do your best to make the right ones, and always do your best to learn from the wrong ones, because every choice you make makes you. And once again, I would just like to remind our ladies that the question should never be who's going to let me. It should always be who's going to stop me.